In late 2022, a quiet university town in the United States suddenly found itself at the center of national attention. For years, the community had been known for its peaceful atmosphere and student life.
It's really the heart of everything.
Residents rarely expected major crime to become part of daily conversation.
But one weekend would change everything. News quickly spread throughout the town and beyond, reaching residents and authorities alike. Why did it happen here?
I just don't understand it.
We have to do something, find answers.
Authorities launched a major investigation. The focus quickly shifted toward collecting facts and preserving evidence. Every detail mattered. At first, very few answers were available.
National media soon arrived.
We will be sharing our findings shortly.
Commander, can you give us more details?
Authorities are continuing to search for the suspect. Investigators are focusing on new leads. Online speculation grew rapidly.
The suspect's pattern matches, indicating a deliberate and methodical approach.
Confirmed. The digital footprint aligns. A timeline began taking shape. The team carefully examined locations and activity patterns. Video footage quickly became an important source of information. Technology would play a major role in the case.
The surveillance footage is syncing up now.
Check the geotagging on this witness photo.
Thousands of pieces of information needed to be reviewed.
One question stood above all others. Who was responsible? As the investigation expanded, detectives began reviewing hundreds of hours of video collected from businesses, homes, and public locations. Every frame was examined carefully. Even the smallest detail could become an important clue. By aligning footage from different locations, investigators started building a more complete timeline.
Patterns slowly began to emerge. Certain movements appeared repeatedly within the collected information.
The investigation was becoming increasingly data-driven. Digital evidence soon became one of the most important parts of the case. Modern investigations often rely on technology, and this case was no exception. Thousands of records were reviewed in search of meaningful connections. Slowly, investigators started identifying areas that required closer attention.
Each new piece of information helped narrow the focus of the investigation.
The DNA evidence points to this link. Confirmed, the timeline is complete.
The investigation continued around the clock.
Meanwhile, public interest continued growing across the country. Online communities followed every development and debated countless theories.
For investigators, however, speculation was not enough. Only verifiable facts mattered. Video analysis revealed additional details that had not been obvious at first. When separate pieces of evidence supported one another, confidence in the timeline increased. Several locations became key areas within the investigation. The growing collection of information was beginning to point investigators in a specific direction. What had initially seemed like an overwhelming amount of information was slowly becoming clearer. Investigators believed they were getting closer to identifying an important lead. While digital investigators analyzed data, forensic specialists focused on physical evidence. Advances in forensic science have transformed modern criminal investigations. One of the most powerful tools available to investigators is DNA analysis. By comparing biological information, investigators can establish important connections.
We cross-reference the samples with the database.
And the results confirm our initial hypothesis.
Let's prepare a detailed report for the task force.
As new information arrived, detectives compared laboratory findings with evidence collected from other sources.
The DNA report confirms it. Yes, it matches the sample.
The strongest investigations are often built from multiple independent pieces of evidence. Several findings appeared to support conclusions already developing within the case.
Confidence in the investigation continued growing.
What once seemed like separate clues now appeared to form a consistent picture. The timeline became one of the most important tools available to investigators. By combining evidence sources, investigators could better understand the sequence of events. Every conclusion was reviewed and verified before being added to the case. Weeks of work were beginning to produce results. Attention increasingly centered on a smaller number of possibilities. Major decisions required careful consideration and supporting evidence. By this stage, the investigation had reached a critical point. Our findings confirm a significant security breach. A particular lead now appeared stronger than any other. Additional resources were assigned to examine the lead in greater detail. After weeks of intensive work, investigators believed they were closer than ever to identifying the person at the center of the case. After weeks of investigation, detectives believed they had identified a person of significant interest. And the conclusion was not based on a single clue. Instead, it resulted from multiple forms of evidence supporting one another. Every finding was carefully documented and reviewed before the next steps were taken. Major investigations require cooperation between many different agencies and specialists. By this stage, investigators believed the evidence met the standards required for further legal action. The case demonstrated how patience and detailed analysis can gradually reveal important answers. What began as a mystery had become one of the most closely followed investigations in recent American history.
Rates of accreditation.
News organizations around the world reported on the latest developments.
Many people hoped the investigation would provide clarity and accountability. Attention gradually shifted from investigation to legal proceedings. The legal process would involve reviewing evidence, testimony, and investigative findings. Court proceedings often move more slowly than public attention, but they remain a critical part of the justice system. The case highlighted how modern investigations combine traditional detective work with advanced technology. Several different investigative tools played important roles in building the case. For investigators, the goal was always the same: Follow the evidence wherever it leads.
The investigation became a widely studied example of modern law enforcement methods. Who?
As time passed, the community slowly began moving forward.
The events left a lasting impact on many people, both locally and across the country. Years from now, the investigation will likely continue to be discussed in classrooms, documentaries, and criminal justice studies. The Idaho investigation remains a powerful example of how evidence, technology, and persistence can work together in the search for answers.